Welcome to the Elevate Hair Show. I'm your host, Tatum Neal. Got a great show tonight. We've got our friend Renée Gadar back, and we're talking about a new piece of regulation in Louisiana that could quite literally change the United States of America. Before we do that, we have our year-end review, the top 30 pieces of content on Elevate Hair. We're going to get to that right now in a special episode of Double Tap. Here we go. It's Double Tap, where we take all the best content from Instagram, put it on a TV show, then we put it back on Instagram. This is our year-end sort of celebration collection of all the best photos that you submitted over the past year, 2021. We've boiled it down to our top, 27 photos. We're filming this a few days before the new year, so I wanted to give a little bit of time for another hit or two to make it into our top 30, but so far, this is the best of the best, the ones that got the highest engagement, the furthest reach, the most likes, and some that are just what we think are the best photos, despite the amount of engagement they got. But all these are big hitters. This one from Mila Lavina. This is like an oil slick on a bob. Man, how did they pull that off? I can't even figure it out. It's totally, it's wicked. It's mental. I love it. This one, what can I say about it? This is one of those shots where the second I saw it, I knew it was going to be a banger. It was going to blow up. And why wouldn't it blow up? Beautiful model, beautiful shape and execution in the barbershop. Loving it. This was a big reel for us this year. This one really stuck out to me. It's from a Moschino fashion show. And I forget which... Someone, Black Hair Flare posted it. I saw it. We reshared it, and it did so well for us. And I feel like beads are having a comeback, sort of a callback to when, people were younger and wearing beads in their hair. Definitely seeing it, and we're seeing it across the spectrum of gender as well. It's everywhere. This one, we just keep posting this one, and for some reason, this concept, this idea of mullet versus shag and wolf cut. Every time we post it, it blows up. It's one of our biggest hits. It's a hair thing, but not a hair photo. But I thought I had to give it some love because it just keeps winning every time we post it. Definitely a top 30 post. This is a newer entry by Joyful Hair. And I mean, what can you say about it? The execution of this color is mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing, folks. And she's got a little bit of Elevate nails going on too. So beautiful, beautiful work, a newer submission. Another sort of fro textured shape with flowers, just beautiful, beautiful work. What can I say about it? This one is also great. Still no Bizumi. This one did really, really well. Just killer mullet there. Another mullet by Julius Caesar, who made our top 20 of last year. So here he is again, getting in our top post of the year. Cayenne hair. We've shared this a few times on the TV show because it just keeps blowing up. It keeps happening. It's a beautiful shot, beautiful model, everything. Maisie Wang. This thing is dope. This is crazy. I love this. Everything that's coming out of Japan right now, for me at least, is just so killer and just on the edge of what's fashion and trend. Alexei Ospacek, tons of killer work. This one just happened to be one of the best photos we thought of the year. High engagement here. Barbario Sosados, I hope I didn't mispronounce this. This is a Brazilian artist. We're getting so much content, so many tags, so much love from Brazil. It's our second biggest country of following, right after the United States, and it surpassed the UK. So I don't know what's going on in Brazil right now. All I can say is thank you so much, and keep tagging us. We want to feature your work. It's amazing. Hair horns are a thing. They're going to be around, I think, in 2022. And Errol Cardig with this shot, I just love it. I love the contrast in color. The hair horns, super awesome. This one is model Disgrace, and I've tried to find the hairdresser who did this hair. They gave them love on their page, but that account is no longer existent. So whoever this hairdresser is, beautiful work. This got a lot of traction on our page. Thank you so much. Another model, I am Serena. I think this one's just kind of like casual and compelling, and it did well for us. Just simple pink, beautiful hair. This was like a little avant-garde. I wasn't sure it was going to do well by Street Invader, but we've posted this twice and it's blown up both times. I think there's something with the fringe. I think the cassette's calling back to old school. Something about this photo just took off. Before and afters, for some reason they don't do great for our page. I don't know why. This one really did, Color by Cares. I think just beautiful. I don't know if it's the whole taking the glasses off, if that's what did it, but beautiful work, top 30 post for sure. Danielle Jiang, this was a really super cool mullet. You know, of course, mullets are going to do well on Elevate Hair. We've been talking mullets for 4 years now, I feel like. Way Wesley Way, you're going to see them again at the end of the show, but he just, I don't know what to say about him. He just does killer stuff. This we posted early in 2021, and it stayed one of the top posts throughout the rest of the year. Owen Gould posted this one. We saw this one first on Hairbrain, and talk about a Tennessee waterfall. Serious mullet action. Great model, great photo. Did very, very well. Okay, so Nyan, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. She makes wigs and does really cool wigs. This is kind of like a mullet-inspired wig. Gorgeous model, super cool stuff. Every time we post her, it blows up. Rainbow Girls posted this, just kind of a simple, almost selfie in the sunshine, beautiful bobbed, extremely well for us. Another sunshine photo by Neutral Floor. This one did really great. Now, normally, like, it's a big sort of photo faux pas to be backlit, but she managed to get the sun in the perfect spot where it just kind of creates a beautiful little halo around her. One of our top posts for sure. This one surprised me. It's just very casual, very simple, hardcore puppy. I think we saw this maybe on United by Short Hair and reshared it. Killer. I mean, look at the likes it got. Crazy. Sometimes Instagram just wants to see something real. This one seemed to be one of those cases. Hairmaster Tanya, I mean, the work they do, you can really see it on this one. Just cool. Wow, 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 wow. Here's the still shot. This one blew up for us. Crazy. My good friend Jessica at Flamingo Hair Lounger, this Flamingo Lounge Hair, this one just blew up. Allure Magazine featured it as well. It was one of our top posts, maybe definitely like top 10 posts, maybe like top 3 of the year. Keep posting it, keeps blowing up. Everyone loves this photo. And then number one, numero uno is, again, Way Wesley Way. This photo crushed, y'all. SZA found it somehow. She reshared it. It just blew up. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the insights in this thing. Look at the reach of this photo. Over 1 million people saw this. Over 1 million impressions. Almost 90,000 likes. People were obsessed with this photo. And what we're seeing today is a lot of people pick up this sort of like bi-level look with color dipped in. So I think that trend is going to roll into 2022. And you're still going to see this, but I got to give props to Way Wesley Way because they kind of, at least in my mind, kind of brought this concept back, and we love it. It's our number one photo of 2021, but it actually might end up being number one of 2022, reaching 1 million people. It's incredible. I want to thank all of our Elevate Hair fans for following us, participating in this by just liking and engaging and sharing these photos with us. It's been a great year. Looking forward to 2022. Today on Hair Now, we thought it'd be great to talk about a new regulation in Louisiana that's really shaking up our industry and just shaking up the United States of America. We have a new regulation in the state board that actually requires new cosmetology students to test out of cutting textured hair. And why not bring in one of the sort of influencers and motivators for this new regulation, Miss Renée Gadar. Renée!
Hi, Tatum.
How's it going?
It's going.
I bet. Thank you so much for getting through New York rush hour traffic to be on the Elevate Hair Show tonight. I really appreciate it. And I'm grateful because I can't think of anyone better to talk about this new regulation than you. Before we kind of get into that, do me a favor and sort of tell us your role right now in the industry and how you sort of came to play a part in this new regulation in Louisiana.
Yeah, so right now, I'm the Global Artistic Director of Texture for AVEDA. I'm there full time doing that, and I'm still behind the chair 2 days a week. But how I got to AVEDA Corporate is through the Neal Corporation and going into the AVEDA Arts schools and teaching texture 2 days a week. And then I am your friend, and then because I'm your friend, I became Edwin's friend. And what ended up happening is just lots of talks between us. And I think you doing a lot of talking to Edwin when I'm not there based on things that we talk about. And it's just like talking with one another created awareness for things that were really missing in our industry. And I always had unrest about feeling like as a Black woman, I'm left out of the beauty industry's stories, their decision making, what ends up on the shelf, what ends up in like the service part or the service part of the wheel in the industry. Um, but I didn't really know how to fix all of those things. I didn't have the foresight to be like, oh, as I was becoming aware of the problems and becoming aware of the gap, I knew how to remedy the gap. I didn't. And so it was just a huge collaborative effort, I think. I'm not sure when Edwin got on the board of cosmetology, but it was bred out of talking to Edwin about what needed to change in the schools. I felt like I wanted things to change, but the avenue I was taking to change it was slow. And then a couple calls with Edwin, and a lot of things changed very quickly. And then I just realized how tenacious he was and how anxious he was to have things change. And I didn't feel like it was coming from a place where he wanted to do it to keep up with what he felt was current. I think that in him, in his self, in yourself, like in the Neals, is a deep seated like mission for inclusion and what that actually looks like in the schools. And I think that's the legacy that the Neals are trying to leave now. And so, you know, when we were just, I think Edwin was just so amazed at what was left out of the school. Like it didn't dawn on him like every student coming in should have a textured mannequin in every one of their kits. He was just like, whoa, like how did we not think of that? And so, I mean, he hopped to that immediately, making it so that there is texture curriculum, not just for 2 days, but rather over a cosmetology student's 12-month stay at a cosmetology school. So it's not this niche thing anymore. It's interwoven into your learning of hair. And I think the reason why this news struck and it went everywhere is because I think the general public thinks that if you go to beauty school to learn hair, you must be learning every kind of hair. And that's just not the case. It's not in the Milady's Handbook, which is the book that most cosmetology schools build their curriculum off of. It's nowhere. And I think in talking to Edwin, he was just like, well, we gotta get this on the state board. The state board needs to change. We have to make it so that not only our schools are demanding that our students learn texture, all schools have to do it because they have to show up to the licensure, the exam, and pass and demonstrate something with texture, calling all schools to teach it. And why that's important to me, not that you asked why it's important to me, but
Well,
why
I
it's
mean, you are on the show, so it kind of maybe I do care.
why it's important to me is like I don't think anyone should be given the opportunity to choose whether or not they need to learn textured hair. And I think that's how it's been. It's been like when texture education is up for grabs, a salon has the ability to choose whether or not they want to buy into that education. But I believe like nobody should choose to leave me out of the hair story or people who look like me out of the hair story. I don't think that that is a wise choice. But where we can have jurisdiction is the schools. And for the state board, we can say, no, like you don't get the choice to leave this kind of hair out of your hair story, out of your hair learning. And if it's on a standardized test that somebody has to take to get a license, then then you remove the choice. Everyone has to engage the hair. And the importance of everyone having to engage the hair is just eliminating the fear. When you go to cosmetology school for 12 months and you learn hair and you come out, you feel like, all right, whatever you didn't know before, you have less fear around. And if in your cosmetology school experience you didn't experience texture or dealing with Black and brown women, it's not going to be any different when you get out in the salon. And then, of course, like when those clients come in, you're going to feel intimidated. You're not going to want to engage them. You're not going to want to market to them because you're afraid of it. And that's how this whole thing keeps perpetuating. Why
Yeah.
we're like Black and brown women keep getting left out of the story, because this fear that's keeping people from engaging in the demographic that looks like me. And so if you intersect that at the point that they're in school, from the minute that someone says, I sign up to learn about hair, then this is included. And then you will be tested on it. And by the time they're done, because they've engaged it at least a few times in their cosmetology school experience, it'll reduce the amount of fear that they have, so that when a client does come in, fear isn't the immediate thing they feel. They feel like, okay, I'm not afraid, but this is a learning opportunity, because they've at least seen it before.
Yeah, I love that. Overcoming fear, developing confidence. And what I love about what you've managed to do, um, with the help of everyone that you encounter with, because everyone wants to do something, I feel like, or at least a lot of people want to do something. But how do I affect change on an individual level? And is it individual level enough? And how do I affect change beyond myself? And what you're actively doing right now is, one, helping Louisiana sort of at a baseline. Anyone who's new coming into our industry has to be able to have a little bit of core competency and confidence with textured hair of some sort, right? So that's a great start. But then you're also doing it at the brand level too, because you're kind of attacking it from brand, salon, and new people into the industry. You're kind of hitting it at all levels, and I think that's honestly the fastest way to affect change. And what I'm really, I don't know if impressed is the right word or surprised, but I guess I'm surprised by how surprised people are that this isn't part of our curriculum, and that a lot of board education is sort of rooted, no pun intended, in like styling from the 50s and 60s, right? Where Black women sort of were forced sort of culturally to wear hair that wasn't really reflective of who they were, to sort of conform. And whether it was intentional, in 2021 to leave it in there, or just sort of like forgotten about, that's not where we are today. And you really speak, very, very strongly about women should be allowed to wear their hair exactly how it is. And now we have a test at least that reflects that. Talk to me a little bit about this sort of natural hair movement that you're a part of and affecting change around. What does it mean to you, and where do you see it going today and for tomorrow?
Yeah. What it means to me is like self-expression and also self-acceptance. If you're always told, so I went to a salon today. I'm just going to get into it. I went to a salon today to test a product for AVEDA. It's one of the AVEDA's competitors. And so they were like, we want to launch something similar to this, a treatment plan. Can you go in knowing my hair texture and get this treatment, so that we can kind of talk about what you like about it, what you don't like about it, whatever. I knew based on the address of the salon that it was going to be a salon that is predominantly white. And I got there, and it sure enough was that. And I figured in my head already, I'm going to have to style my own hair. I know that I'm going to have to style my own hair. And what they were kind and cordial, which means but I can tell that they were afraid right when I was sitting there, because of how many times they convened before even bringing me into the seat, and then how they kept reconvening over and over again.
Do they know who you were, or you were like stranger off the street? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then the main stylist, who I was booked with, didn't know how to do my hair, and I could tell. And so she put her assistant on it. She was just like, she's going to blow dry it. And the assistant obviously didn't know how to do my hair, so she got worked up, like legitimately feeling afraid. I can feel her fear off of her, like borderline tears. And that, like, it's not a comfortable experience for me, and I'm sure it wasn't a comfortable experience for her. But I think the part that was most maddening are the words that they used around me. So a lot of words like unmanageability, that I needed to shrink my hair. So my hair is blown out now because it was the quickest way that I can get it dry. They don't have a hood dryer. I can't wear natural. So I have to just blow dry it and go. But I had to blow dry it myself. And one of the things that she kept saying was that you need to shrink it. You need to shrink it. And here is this thing. Here are these products. So she handed me some of these competitors' products, and the names on the product was, it was called. I
don't want to get in trouble here, so you don't have to be specific.
I know. Okay. But some of the verbiage on the product was for unruly, unmanageable hair, and that's all of the product she gave me. And I'm thinking to myself, my hair is textured. It is neither it's not unmanageable and it's not unruly. You just can't manage it, but it's not unmanageable, and that's the problem. And so what I feel like my work is, what I'm burdened by, is that a woman of color with naturally textured hair should go into a salon and be and not have conventions around them. They should feel like there is some level of competency in the salon staff, and then they should also have things spoken around them that reassure them that they're in the right place to get their hair done, and not like, ooh, I'm going to have to finish this, or I'm going to have to do this myself. And I think, like, for me, I'm a hairdresser, been a hairdresser since I was really young. I'd always done my own hair. I have not personally gone to a salon to get my hair done. I've heard all of these stories from my clients. I've heard all these stories from, like, just in my life of hair. I've heard all of these stories, but don't always experience it myself. And so sitting there and experiencing it, it's just an uncomfortable feeling. But I also felt reassured that I was going to leave with my hair done well, because I'm just going to take charge and do my hair because I'm a hairdresser and I can do that. Right. But what does the woman feel like who can't do that?
That's what I was thinking. Who isn't a hairdresser? Who isn't you? Yeah.
Who isn't me? Who is just going to be like, how am I going to walk out of this salon, and what is the rest of my day and my week going to look like? Because I obviously need to go directly home to try to figure this out. And so what this means for me, like, right now, is to, like, have that stop happening in salons. That's why I'm teaching in salons. That's why I'm creating curriculum for salons. And I want to start populating salons with people that they are not making up for lost time, that they learned this in cosmetology school, so that, like, the future generation of the people who will populate those salons already come equipped with the information. So it all stops, like, it stops in its tracks. What I hope for the future is that this regulation that's in Louisiana is in every state around the United States, and that even in Arkansas, nobody gets to choose to leave me out or anyone out, because Black people are everywhere. They live everywhere, and they should be taken care of in any salon that is closest to where they live and feel confident going in there. And that should just be an increasing measure. Now, we've been left out of the story for so long. I don't think this work is going to be short-lived. I think it's like you're in it for the long haul to make the necessary change so that stops happening more and more.
Well, I mean, your heart's obviously in the right place, and if a lot of people around you, myself included, who want this to happen as well. Let's talk about just quickly, like, let's say I'm a hairdresser or I'm a salon owner and I feel compelled by this story. I've had that type of experience before, and I want to change my level of competency so that I can handle anyone who comes into my salon. What's a good first step or two that they can take to better themselves?
The thing that you can do right now is log on to your Instagram and go to your search. And if you scroll your search and you don't see any people of color on your search, you need to start following some new things. You need to have, like, inspiration for new things. You need to follow Elevate Hair, which has diversity on it. You need to follow things that show you inspirational Black hair or textured hair. Then what you can do is take classes. You can sign up for classes. Sign up for AVEDA classes. AVEDA will come to you. There's also a lot of other people who offer classes, texture classes. Join those classes. Go to those classes and learn all you can. And then when a guest comes in of a texture that you're not accustomed to working with, your hand should be the first one going up to take that person, and confidently, because there's no way you're going to learn it if you don't learn it, if you don't engage with it. So that won't happen. And then when you do take guests like that, or go and, like, when you're going out to a restaurant, you see somebody with textured hair and you're like, oh, I think I can really practice on this person, offer them at discounted rates to do that. Just like we did when we were model hunting. That's how you practice. And then, like, when you finish and you do the work, you take pictures of them and then periodically post some of those pictures on your own Instagram or however it is you reach your guests or your audience, so that it attracts more diversity to your chair. And the more you get, the more you get to practice, and the stronger you will become.
That's a great piece of advice. Some easy first steps. Just go on Instagram and start following the accounts that are posting. And Renee actually is sort of our content contributor for Elevate Texture. So she and I and Savannah, who's our Elevate Color contributor, we're constantly DMing each other content, and we're going to have a special episode of Double Tap with Renee, and we're going to sort of spotlight some images that we've featured on Elevate Hair and kind of talk through them. You've got a couple opportunities for the general public to actually see you and see you perform on a creative level. We've got Next Fest coming up, which is a Neil show in Houston and in Nashville, March 6th and April 10th in Nashville. And you're going to be working with a friend of ours, Naomi Dove, which I'm really looking forward to. So check that out, Next Fest, March 6th and April 10th. And I think that a lot of people know you from your activism, and there is an amazing artist also with Renee. I mean, she and we met together working in New York, and she was one of the best hair cutters that I know. And so she's very dynamic and creative, and she and our Elevate Color contributor, Savannah Netkin, did a creative project a few months ago, and I've entered it into the Hairbrain Video Awards, Renee. So hopefully we get nominated and we can go hang out in New York and get an award from Hairbrain. But not everyone's seen this video, and I love it. It's beautiful. Our friends at Metric Creative put it together with us. So why don't we go ahead and roll that video so we can see the creative side of Renee Gadar. Every time I see it.
Yeah, I love it.
I love it too. It was fun working with you on that project, and I hope to do many more. If you're watching now and you want to see that video again, we have it on our YouTube site. The title of it is Protect the Queen. And I'd like to say thank you to our queen, Renee Gadar, for being here and spending some time with us and walking us through this new regulation. And I hope it spreads like wildfire all over the United States. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon. Well, that's it for our show. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to see us in real life, we have 3 Elevate Hair shows coming up, January 16th in New Orleans, March 6th in Houston, and April 10th in Nashville. And March 6th in Houston and April 10th, we're also working with Neil Corporation doing a really cool hair show called Next Fest. It's like if a rock festival, techno festival, and a hair show kind of like made a crazy weird baby, that's Next Fest, and it's going to be awesome. So definitely check that out. Next Fest and Elevate Hair coming at you live in person. Hope